Hey, fifth grade. We were going to talk actually about a little bit more about geography today, but I heard that you guys did awesome on your geography. So we're going to jump into a little bit of history. We might get back to that geography stuff with some flashcard practice in a little while, but we're just going to jump into history for today, all right? So today's history topic is going to be the religion in the colonies, okay? That's what we're going to talk about today. Tomorrow, probably about Native Americans, and Friday, probably about economics in the colonies, how they made the money. Money, moolah. All right. So let's start with New England. Start north and work our way south. New England was settled by Puritans and Pilgrims. Puritans and Pilgrims traveled from England to Massachusetts to start a new colony because they disagreed with the church in England. They had strict rules. Now, Puritans and Pilgrims are basically the same. They're strict Christians from England, but there's about that settled in Massachusetts, but there's a slight difference that you might want to know. Puritans wanted to purify the church in England. They didn't like the church, but they thought maybe they could fix it. Pilgrims wanted to separate from the church in England. They said, this is so bad, we need a whole new church, and we're going to start our own church. Okay? So they all disagreed with the church in England, but slightly different viewpoints on it. Okay? One thing that you need to remember is the strict rules. Okay? So they did a lot of praying. Religion was very, very important to them. Okay? And also another important point is education. This is an early schoolhouse. Not very many early colonies had schoolhouses, but New England, because they thought it was so important to read the Bible, they actually had schools to teach their children to read. Okay? That's important. Now, important events in New England. All right? We're going to see how this religion played out. Roger Williams and Anne Hutchinson are kicked out of Massachusetts because they have different religious ideas. This shows that the Puritans were not tolerant, like the Quakers, who we're going to talk about next. Almost 20 women were put to death in Salem, Massachusetts for practicing witchcraft and working for the devil. Okay, so they might be a little superstitious too. All right, these are very religious people. They're willing to kill people for their religious beliefs. All right, kick them out. So here's Roger Williams and Hutchinson. They have to leave Massachusetts because they don't agree with the church. And when you don't agree with the church, you don't just get to not go to church. You have to leave. They kick you out. All right. Salem witch trials. All right. This shows some of the punishments. Actually, most of the women ended up being hanged. Okay. Ended up being hanged. In Europe, they used to burn witches on the stake. Okay. So very important, very significant events tied to the religious life in New England. Okay. Religion was very important. So middle colonies. Pennsylvania, middle colony, the most important middle colony probably, was started by William Penn, a Quaker. Now, Quakers believe in peace and toleration, so they accepted other people. They didn't kick people out like the Puritans did. For this reason, they had much better relations with the Native Americans. They got along a lot better than the Puritans did. All right. Here's William Penn, leader of the Quakers in Pennsylvania, meeting with the Native Americans peacefully as friends. Southern colonies. So the Southern colonies were started by businessmen and did not have a religious focus. One colony, Maryland, was set up for Catholics who are not tolerated in other places, but the rest were for business. Okay? Maryland for Catholics, but when you think Southern colonies, you really shouldn't think religion. All right? Remember, think the slaves, think the plantations, think them making the money on the cash crops. Don't think Puritans and Quakers and religion. All right? Main ideas. New England had Puritans and Pilgrims, and they were intolerant. The middle colonies had Quakers, more different types of people, and they were tolerant of others. The southern colonies had one Catholic colony, but not really into the whole religion thing. Okay? So that's religion in a nutshell. We're going to have some flashcards that you can throw into the flashcards that you already have on geography so you can start practicing some of this stuff. But I think y'all have most of these ideas. All right. Quick review on the vocabulary so you're ready for the flashcards. You know, your Puritans, your Pilgrims, your Quakers, your Catholics. Persecution. It's when someone is attacked because of their religion, politics, or race. It's why the Puritans and Pilgrims came to America, because they were being persecuted and attacked in England for their different beliefs. Remember, Roger Williams and Anne Hutchinson were persecuted because they had different beliefs. All right. Toleration. That's what the Quakers did. That means allowing different ideas. All right. That's the opposite of persecution, is toleration, where you accept people. You don't maybe not agree with them, but you accept them. You allow them to have those ideas. Okay. All right. I think that's all for today. I think you're armed with all the knowledge you need to practice and get better and conquer this LEAP test. So I'm going to leave you with that and see you tomorrow. Goodbye.